Alex Miller's background. Alex Miller had always been a man driven by vision and determination. At 45 years old, he was the proud founder and CEO of Miller Mart, a chain of convenience stores that had grown exponentially over the past decade. What began as a humble, single-location store in a quiet suburban neighborhood had blossomed into a successful franchise with numerous locations scattered across the region. This was the result of years of hard work, strategic planning, and a relentless commitment to making Miller Mart a brand that customers trusted. But as the company expanded, so did the distance between Alex and the everyday operations of his stores. The early days of managing every aspect of his business, greeting customers personally, overseeing the stock, and being present in every decision felt like a distant memory. Now, as a CEO of a thriving franchise, his days were consumed with reports, meetings, and long-distance oversight. While the numbers were good, the personal connection to his employees, his customers, and the day-to-day atmosphere of his stores began to fade. Alex found himself questioning whether his employees felt truly valued, whether the company's vision for excellent customer service was being executed at the ground level, and whether the human touch that had made Miller Mart unique was still present in the heart of his operations. As the pressure of his growing responsibilities mounted, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he was losing touch with what made Miller Mart special. The business had become more about profits and expansion, and less about the people who made it all possible, the employees who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, the cashiers who interacted with customers daily, and the managers who upheld the company's values. It was then that Alex realized he had to do something bold to regain that lost connection. He wanted to understand firsthand what was really happening inside his stores. He wanted to see beyond the numbers and gain insight into the experiences of his team. With that desire in mind, Alex made a decision that would change the course of his company. He would go undercover. Disguising himself as a regular employee, he would visit one of his own stores, unannounced, and experience everything from the perspective of a worker. It was a daring move, one that required him to step out of his comfort zone and into the shoes of someone who wasn't a CEO but just another part of the team. This decision wasn't just about learning how things were running on the ground. It was about understanding his employees' lives, their challenges, and their dedication to the company. Alex knew that if he truly wanted to lead effectively, he needed to connect with the people who made Miller Mart what it was. He needed to see how they worked, how they interacted with customers, and, most importantly, how they felt about the company they represented. This marked a pivotal moment in Alex's journey as a leader. It wasn't just about the success of the business anymore, it was about something deeper, rekindling the human element that had always been at the core of Miller Mart's success. Alex was about to embark on a journey that would reshape not only his perspective as a CEO, but also the way he led his company into the future. Undercover mission. Alex knew that in order to understand his company again, he had to experience it in a way that few CEOs ever do through the eyes of an everyday employee. The decision to go undercover was not an easy one, nor was it made lightly. For years, he had been accustomed to being at the top of the chain, making big decisions, attending meetings, and managing the broader picture. But in that moment, Alex realized that he needed to step outside of his role, to strip away the title and the status, and to truly see his business for what it was on the ground level. He chose to disguise himself and immerse himself in the daily life of a store worker, a move that required vulnerability and courage. The idea of showing up at one of his stores, wearing jeans, a hoodie, and a baseball cap was not something Alex had ever considered before. Yet, he understood that to learn what was really happening in his business, he had to become just another face in the crowd, someone who blended in, who was unrecognizable to his employees, so they could act naturally without the pressure of knowing their CEO was watching. Alex selected a store that he knew well, a location that had consistently performed well and seemed to embody the values he hoped all his stores would reflect. It was in a busy urban area where the pace of life was fast and the challenges of serving a diverse community could be overwhelming. It was the perfect place for Alex to begin his undercover mission. He arrived early in the morning, before the store became bustling with customers, and immediately began to observe the dynamics around him. As he interacted with his colleagues, Alex kept a careful distance, focusing on how people worked, how they communicated with one another, and how they interacted with customers. His goal wasn't to point out flaws or to offer immediate solutions. It was simply to observe, listen, and absorb the atmosphere. Alex wanted to see if the culture he had built within his company was truly alive and thriving, or if it had slowly been eroded by the pressures of growth and expansion. His plan was simple: to be a silent witness to the lives of his employees, to see what they did when they thought no one was watching, and to gain insight into the customer experience. Alex didn't want to just see the performance metrics, wanted to feel the pulse of the store, understand the challenges the workers faced, and see firsthand the impact of his company's culture. There was something deeply humbling about this experience for Alex. As he worked alongside the staff, performing simple tasks like stocking shelves and assisting customers, he felt a sense of connection that had been missing for years. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't the CEO making decisions from behind a desk, was just another employee, contributing in small ways and experiencing the business through a different lens. It was a powerful reminder that leadership wasn't just about steering the ship from above. It was about being in the trenches with the people who made it all possible. This mission was the beginning of a profound shift for Alex. What started as an undercover operation soon became a journey of self-discovery, reminding him of the values he had once held dear and the importance of connecting with his team on a personal level. It was clear that this experience would forever change the way he viewed leadership and his role within the company. Ben's kindness. As Alex spent more time in the store, he began to notice something remarkable. Among the employees working tirelessly throughout the day, there was one who stood out: Ben, a young cashier with a warm, welcoming demeanor. From the moment Alex stepped behind the counter, he saw the genuine care Ben showed toward every customer that walked through the door. It wasn't just about scanning items or processing payments, it was about connection. Ben seemed to make an effort with every person, greeting them by name and remembering the little details of their lives. Alex could sense that Ben wasn't just doing his job, he was truly engaged, building relationships with the people who came into the store day after day. But it wasn't until Alex overheard a conversation between Ben and an elderly customer that the depth of his kindness became fully apparent. The customer, an older man wearing a worn-out jacket and purchasing only a loaf of bread and some milk, hesitated when it came time to pay. Ben, noticing his struggle, insisted that the man not worry about the total. "It's on me today, Mr. Adams," he said with a gentle smile. The elderly man, clearly grateful but reluctant to accept the gesture, tried to refuse. But Ben reassured him quietly, saying, "It's fine, don't worry about it." The man thanked him softly and walked away, leaving Alex standing there in awe. Why would a cashier, someone barely making enough to cover his own needs, be willing to go so far out of his way for a customer? It was a simple act, but it was so much more than just paying for a loaf of bread. It was a reflection of Ben's heart that was willing to help others even when it wasn't expected or required. Over the following hours, Alex observed Ben continuing to show the same selflessness toward other customers. He quietly helped a single mother who couldn't afford all the items in her cart, offering discounts and packing extra goods without charging. There was no fanfare, no desire for recognition. Ben simply did what he could to ease the burden of those around him. What struck Alex the most was how natural this kindness seemed for Ben. It wasn't forced or calculated, it was simply who he was. The way he treated the people in his community, often without anyone noticing, was a testament to the kind of person he was, someone who carried a deep sense of compassion and empathy for those who struggled. Intrigued, Alex decided to learn more about Ben, and what he discovered left him speechless. In a quiet moment, as Ben took a break, Alex struck up a conversation. He asked him why he went to such lengths to help others when he could so easily stay out of it. Ben paused, looking a little surprised, but then opened up. "Some of the people who come in here are really going through tough times," he said. "Mr. Adams, for example, lost his wife recently and has been struggling to make ends meet. There's also a single dad who comes in with his kids. They're doing their best, but they can't always afford everything. I just try to help where I can. It's not much, but it makes a difference." In that moment, Alex realized that Ben's generosity wasn't just about the small acts of kindness he showed in the store. It was a reflection of the way he approached life. Ben had grown up with his own hardships, losing his father at a young age and taking on the responsibility of caring for his younger brother. Despite these personal struggles, he remained determined to give to others, to make their lives a little easier, even when his own wasn't always easy. It was a rare and beautiful quality, one that Alex knew deserved recognition. Ben's kindness was a quiet ripple, making waves in the lives of those he helped. It was a reminder that, even in a world that often values success and achievement above all else, there are still people who lead with their hearts, not their wallets. For Alex, this was a pivotal moment. He saw in Ben not just a dedicated employee, but a person whose actions aligned with the very values he wanted his company to embody. It was a powerful reminder that the true measure of a person or of a company is not what it achieves, but how it treats others along the way. Ben's personal struggles. As Alex continued to observe Ben, he began to sense that there was more beneath the surface than what he saw in the store. Ben's kindness and generosity were not just random acts. They were reflections of a deeper story, a story of resilience, sacrifice, and perseverance. It was during a quiet conversation with Bill, a seasoned stockroom worker who had known Ben for some time, that Alex learned of the personal struggles that shaped the young cashier's character. Bill shared with Alex the difficult reality of Ben's life. "You know, Ben's had it tough," Bill said, his voice tinged with concern. "He lost his father when he was just a teenager. After that, he had to grow up fast. He's been working odd jobs ever since to support his younger brother. He barely takes a day off, even when he's sick. I worry about him. He's a good kid, always giving to others, but I don't think anyone's really looking out for him." The weight of Bill's words settled in Alex's chest. He hadn't realized the extent of the challenges Ben faced. To the customers who came into the store, Ben was just the cheerful cashier with a bright smile and a kind word. But behind that smile was a young man who had shouldered responsibilities far beyond his years. Ben's father's death had left a void in his life, one that he had worked hard to fill by becoming the pillar of strength for his family. While his peers were focused on their own lives, Ben had become the caretaker for his younger brother, doing whatever it took to ensure he had what he needed. What struck Alex most about this revelation was that despite the immense pressure Ben faced in his personal life, he never let it harden him or diminish his capacity for kindness. Instead of being bitter about his struggles, Ben used them as fuel to help others. He didn't complain about his own hardships or seek pity. In fact, most people at the store had no idea of the weight he carried. They saw the surface, the smiling cashier, the person who went above and beyond for others, but they didn't see the exhaustion in his eyes or the silent battles he fought each day. Ben had built walls around his pain, choosing to focus on making life better for those around him rather than letting his circumstances define him. Alex was deeply moved by the realization that Ben was not just a hard worker, but a young man who had learned to persevere in the face of hardship. He had never allowed his struggles to define him negatively. Instead, he used them to build a life of purpose, to make a difference in the lives of others. This was no small feat. It spoke to Ben's inner strength and his unyielding sense of responsibility. He had endured so much, yet he still managed to show up every day with a heart open to others, with a willingness to give, even when he had so little for himself. As Alex reflected on what he had learned about Ben, he began to understand the profound impact that personal experiences can have on shaping a person's character. Ben's struggles were not a burden to him, they were the foundation of his empathy, his kindness, and his relentless drive to help those in need. In a world where many people were consumed with their own struggles, Ben stood as a quiet testament to the power of selflessness and resilience. His story was a powerful reminder to Alex that true strength doesn't come from the absence of struggle, but from how we choose to rise above it and use it to lift others up. Revealing the truth. After days of working alongside his employees, Alex had witnessed enough. He had seen things from a perspective he never could have imagined as the CEO of Miller Mart. The kindness, the dedication, the struggles, and the hidden strength of his staff, all of it had left a deep impression on him. But perhaps nothing had moved him more than Ben. The young cashier's selflessness, despite his own personal hardships, had stirred something in Alex. He could no longer remain anonymous. It was time to reveal the truth. That evening, after the store closed and the usual buzz of customers faded away, Alex gathered all the employees for a meeting. He knew this moment would be both a revelation and a turning point. As he stood before them, the weight of the decision he was about to make settled heavily on his shoulders. It wasn't just about unveiling his identity. It was about recognizing the people who made his vision come to life. These were the individuals who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, contributing to Miller Mart's success, and Alex was ready to acknowledge their worth in a way he never had before. With a deep breath, Alex removed his baseball cap and hoodie, revealing his true identity to a room full of surprised faces. "Hi, everyone," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I'm Alex Miller, the CEO of Miller Mart." The room fell silent as realization washed over the employees. They stared at him, trying to comprehend the situation. Some looked shocked, others confused, but Alex could feel the shift in the atmosphere. "I've been working here undercover for the past few days," he continued. "I wanted to understand firsthand what was happening in my stores, and let me tell you, this experience has been truly eye-opening." There was a moment of stillness as Alex let his words sink in. He wasn't just a CEO speaking to his employees. He was a leader who had just seen the heart of his business. He had experienced the dedication, the struggles, and the passion that made Miller Mart more than just a chain of stores. It was the people who worked in it that gave it life. Turning to Ben, Alex's voice softened with gratitude. "Ben," he said, "I've seen how you go above and beyond for our customers. You do things that most people wouldn't even think about, not for recognition, but because you genuinely care. Your kindness, your generosity, hasn't gone unnoticed." The words seemed to hang in the air, heavy with sincerity and admiration. Alex had watched Ben for days, and what he had seen had inspired him more than he could express. Alex paused, then made an announcement that would change Ben's life forever. "Because of the incredible way you serve others, because of the example you set for your peers, I'm promoting you to a management position. You'll receive a significant raise, and I'm also setting up a fund to support employees in need across all Miller Mart locations." The room was filled with stunned silence, followed by a wave of applause and cheers. But Alex wasn't finished. He turned to Ben, his expression filled with compassion. "Ben, I want to do more for you. I'm offering to pay for your brother's education. I see your sacrifices, and I want to help you build a better future for yourself and your family." Ben stood frozen, overcome with emotion. He had never expected anything like this. He had only ever given to others out of pure kindness, without any thought of reward. To have someone acknowledge his struggles, to see his efforts not just as a job but as something meaningful, it was overwhelming. He stammered out his thanks, but Alex, with a smile, reassured him. "This is what you deserve. You inspire me, and you inspire all of us." As the meeting came to a close, Alex realized that this moment was more than just a gesture of recognition. It was a turning point for Ben, for the employees, and for Alex himself. He had learned that true leadership wasn't just about guiding a company to financial success. It was about seeing the humanity in those who worked for you, acknowledging their efforts, and helping them thrive. In that room, Alex had revealed the truth not just about who he was, but about the kind of leader he wanted to be. Positive impact. After Alex's revelation, the atmosphere at the store shifted in ways he hadn't anticipated. The energy in the room, once filled with quiet uncertainty, now buzzed with excitement, gratitude, and a newfound sense of purpose. Alex had not only seen his business through the eyes of his employees, but in doing so, he had shown them a level of trust and respect they had never expected from their CEO. This moment of recognition wasn't just about Ben or his promotion. It was a pivotal turning point for the entire team. For the first time, Alex saw his employees not just as workers, but as individuals with stories, struggles, and dreams of their own. By taking the time to understand them, by offering support and validation, Alex had begun to rebuild the very foundation of his company. It was no longer just a business that existed to turn a profit. It was a community, a family, where each person mattered and where their efforts were truly valued. The impact was immediate, rippling out in ways that went beyond what Alex had envisioned. Ben's promotion was only the beginning. His story became an inspiration for others in the store, showing them that hard work, dedication, and kindness didn't go unnoticed. His transformation from a humble cashier to a respected manager was a testament to the power of doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. The other employees began to take note, realizing that the values Alex had always spoken about were not just words, they were actions. They felt a renewed sense of pride in their work and in the company they were a part of. They understood that they too could make a difference, not only in the lives of customers, but in their own futures. For the customers, the shift was equally profound. They had always appreciated the store for its convenience and quality, but now they began to see something more, the care and attention that went into every interaction. There was a noticeable change in the way employees engaged with customers, more warmth, more genuine concern, more effort to make each experience special. The store became a place not just to buy goods, but to feel seen and heard. Customers felt valued, and in turn they returned, bringing with them a greater sense of loyalty and trust in the brand. Alex also took it upon himself to ensure that the positive changes weren't just fleeting moments. He made a commitment to regularly visit his stores, not as a CEO dropping in for a quick checkup, but as someone who genuinely wanted to be involved, to see how his team was doing, to listen to their feedback, and to continue fostering a culture of care and respect. He understood that leadership wasn't just about making big decisions in a boardroom, it was about showing up, being present, and ensuring that the values of the company were lived out daily. The lasting impact of that one undercover visit extended far beyond the walls of that particular store. It set a new standard for what it meant to lead with empathy, to recognize the humanity of those you work with, and to prioritize the well-being of your employees. Alex's decision to step into their shoes, to see the world through their eyes, transformed not only his business, but his approach to leadership. He had learned that success wasn't just measured in profits, it was also measured in the lives touched, the relationships built, and the impact made on the people who were part of the journey. In the end, that one decision to reveal the truth had sparked a movement within the company, a shift that would ripple out for years to come, shaping the way employees, customers, and even Alex himself would define success from that moment forward. Alex Miller's journey was more than just a story of business success. It was a profound lesson in leadership, empathy, and personal growth. By stepping into his employees' shoes and going undercover, Alex not only discovered the true heart of his company, but also found a deeper connection with the people who made it all possible. Through his experience, he witnessed the immense impact of kindness and selflessness, especially in the actions of Ben, a young cashier who gave without expecting anything in return. Alex's decision to recognize Ben's efforts by promoting him and supporting his family was a turning point that rippled through the entire company, transforming the culture and strengthening the bond between employees, customers, and leadership. The lesson from Alex's story is clear. Leadership is not just about making decisions from the top down, but about being present, listening, and valuing the people who make your vision a reality. It's about seeing beyond the roles people play and recognizing the humanity behind their actions. In our daily lives, whether at work, in our communities, or within our families, we can apply this lesson by showing kindness and understanding to those around us. It reminds us to take the time to appreciate the people who support us, to recognize their contributions, and to lead with compassion. When we do this, we not only build stronger relationships, but also create environments where people feel seen, heard, and value a powerful foundation for success in both life and work.